It's 9 a.m. and we're about to have a full complement of commissioners, and everything. I see them outside. If everybody please rise for the pledge of allegiance followed by the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Commissioner Williams, will you please lead us into prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have granted us. Father, thank you for the wonderful summer that you have presented us with all the rain. Father, be with us as we do the business of Mills County. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. Okay, so if everybody will review and act on the minutes, July 14th, 2025. Sheriff, good morning.
Hi, guys. Bill. Again, how are you? Absolutely.
Commissioner Barton and Commissioner Head, good morning. How are y'all today? So we're reviewing and acting on the minutes, July 14th. Have any comments on those minutes? I know Commissioner Williams and I looked through everything on that.
I have one comment.
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Commissioner Head.
You're fine.
Get your breath here.
Yeah, I apologize.
That's all right.
I started off running early this morning and it slowly fell behind in a hurry. On Commissioner's report on mine, it says low water crossing. I don't know whether you want to, it should be water crossing, but I don't know if it makes a difference to you or not, but
Okay.
I guess, so just press the ground.
Yeah, just FYI, they have issues with this because we lost it in the computer, so Jeff and I had to do a lot of.
Well,
checking on it.
I just point, I guess you say nitpicking over nothing rather, but
Okay. Anything else, commissioners?
I make a motion to approve the minutes as presented and.
Okay.
second.
Motion been made by Commissioner Williams to approve the minutes. The second has been made by Commissioner Head. All those in favor of approving the minutes of July 14th, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it unanimously. Okay, number 3, audience individuals. I want to welcome our good friend, Mr. Ernesto Glendo. Ernesto popped in heading out West Texas. For those of you who don't know him, we got to make sure that mic's on Ernesto. Ernesto, Mr. Glendo has been with the TAC for 30+ years. He does our risk adjustment and everything for the county, and they do a great job helping Mills County out. And he pops in at least once a year or twice a year.
Absolutely.
So, Commissioner, y'all hadn't seen this from Mr. Ernesto Glendo. Go ahead, Mr. Glendo.
Thank you very much, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to address the court. As I said, I'm on my way to Van Horn and have a meeting tomorrow morning, but I want to continue I'm the new rep for this area. I took the place of Mr. Victor O'Reilly, who worked here for 24 years. And he decided to retire after 24 years, and he's enjoying retirement. So I've been around town for about 30 years. I've been up in Panhandle, South Texas, East Texas, and I look forward to the opportunity to continue working with you guys. I had the opportunity to visit with some of you. Judge, you and I, we had some discussions on risk management. I believe one of your commissioners called me one time also on a vehicle issue. We can only call which one of you, but with you, things with. But we give the opportunity, we thank you for the opportunity to work with you. Anytime we can help you, please let us know. There's some new faces in the team. I hope they make time to come and see you guys, but anything we can help you, and I'm very glad to hear that you guys are okay up to the rains that we had in the area.
Well, it flooded our county roads. Of course, Sincetta really got hit bad. But we had a lot of road damage again.
I got 20 inches of rain in Liberty Hill where I lived, and it was the road, my county road behind us was completely destroyed. So amazing what water can do to your road.
Yeah. Well, commissioners, any questions for Mr. Glendo?
No.
Well, you're always welcome here, and thanks for looking after our assets.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
As we also look after our assets, so we take all risk management very seriously. Safety, always top priority. So,
Thank you very much. I'll do what I can to help you guys.
Ernesto, good seeing you.
Thank you
Thanks for
very
coming by. Okay, no other audience individuals. So number 4, consider an act on approving accounts payables.
Council did, it says payday and my, payday is the commission.
Yeah.
So that means my,
Blinker. That blinker is not our best, but it's for everything, so. And be right honest, I'll be turning in credit for the lines, when the lady sent me the lines, it was the wrong ones, so I have to send them back. And then between that time, we will return the receipts, but the lines that she actually got are actually cheap, so I won't have the credit. So. Good or good for us, and I had lines put on everything, air conditioning, charged up. And a bunch of work on the mat.
Any other comments on accounts payables?
Make a motion to approve account payable.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Williams. Thank you. Second by Commissioner Sullivan. Any other comments or discussion? All those in favor of approving accounts payable, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it unanimously. Okay, number 5, consider an act on budget amendments and related matters. Commissioner packages are this time of year are all within the budget amendments. Got any questions or not on these? And numerous different departments. So having questions on the budget amendments? If not, I'll make a motion, we approve the budget amendment. I'll second. Okay, I made a motion, second by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor of approving the budget amendment, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Moving on to number 6 is discussion of the 25-26 budget and related matters. I want to welcome 2 representatives from Mills CAD. Come on up here, folks. Miss Lori Friedrich and Michael Hall. Good morning. How are y'all doing? Commissioners, I called these folks up. As you know, in your packages, you got the Mills County appraisal numbers, and they're going to be here for any questions that you might have. As we all know, our certified numbers are down this year slightly, well, 3.9 million roughly to be exact. And it gets complicated, as we talk about every year, because we have several new bills that have been introduced regarding abatements and whatnot for our clients, for the people. We have 65, and that's not abatement, I'm trying to certify. Exemption, I think we're 65 and over exemption. We've also raised the sales inventory from up to 250,000 for some businesses. The homestead exemption has gone from 100,000 to 140,000. So there's always pluses and minuses. And I'll turn this over. I'll just add that there's also 100 new homestead exemptions in Mills County. So y'all go ahead and turn it over and tell us what we need to hear.
Well, your total market value actually went up from 2024. You were at 3.5 billion last year. You're at 3.7 billion in total market value. The taxable value, though, went down from 912 million to 909 million this year. And that's really kind of a combination of things. It's additional exemptions such as homestead exemptions, your veterans, 100% homestead exemptions for veterans. It's,
Disabled veterans, yeah.
yes, sir, yes, sir, sorry.
Yes.
And, your production loss, there's a difference there. It's 2.1 last year, now it's 2.4 in market value. So that's gone up a little bit, about 3 million. So it's really just kind of a combination. All in all, what it boils down to is a difference in tax amount of about $66,000.
How much?
66,000. As you know, we've gotten an ag appraiser hired. She is currently working on, updating our ag stocking rates, implemented, minimum acreage for ag put in place. So we're working on all of those things. Are there any questions? I know this was kind of just a fast rundown, but, do you have any questions off the top of your head? for us?
You've also replaced the internal person for Monica.
We
correct?
have, yes, we are so excited to say we are fully staffed with experienced personnel, and it's going great. I'm really, looking forward to what's ahead.
Our collection rate is about the same, looks like, as it has.
Right, you run 98, 99.
The 65 and over, and is that county? It used to be the-
That's for the school. The additional exemption amount is for the school.
That's pertaining to the county.
No, sir, it does affect you being disabled veterans exemptions, and those are 100% exemptions, and those are, from 38 to 42 this year. So that's up a little bit, and the value, went from 9.6 million up to 10.4. In value for 100% disabled veterans exemptions. Like I said, it's kind of a combination of things. We did raise some of our land schedules this year, but received additional information, so we have to back off of those a little bit. While they're still up over last year, we did have to back off of what we received, what we had to look at before we sent notices, which is what needs to happen. You know, the information that we have before we send notices is all 2+ years old. So then once we start receiving more information, we have to follow what the market tells us. I don't know what to expect market wise. I don't feel like the market will go down, so to speak, over the next year, but I do feel like it will stay. I don't know what to see.
It's pretty high.
Sir,
It's pretty high.
it is. It is.
The only other thing is, we do have some of the wind turbines that are on the back row, some of them are not. Are they contributing severely to the production loss side?
It does impact your taxable value. It doesn't impact that. Michael had a conversation with Richard Navitt last week. You know, those windmills have a 20% life. And in Venergy, those are 10+ years old, 11 years old. Do you want to speak on that? You talk with Keith.
Yes, just going over a few things with Richard Abbott, who's our utilities appraiser from Hawksley. Mainly on the energy one, that seems to, that's the oldest one, Hawksley. They're in their 11th year of a 20-year lifespan. The biggest thing that's affecting them right now is those turbines are considered obsolete, so they can never be replaced, however they can be maintained. Their cost per kilowatt hour that they're having, per megawatt hour that they're producing is actually about half of what it was 5 years ago. Multiple things, that maintenance costs are more expensive. Their actual regulation except by ERCOT, what they're allowed to actually produce into the grid is down. So cost per hour produced versus what they're actually producing is about half of what it was 5 years ago. So.
And that's not because of their capability, it's because
It's a culmination. It is, it's age not being as efficient as newer turbines are. It's regulation that they're only allowed to produce a certain amount of times per day. One thing that our utilities appraiser wanted me to make sure everybody understood is that Invenergy only returned a profit 37.5% of last year. So less than 40% of the year they actually were profitable last year. That's the number that they received, based on their income approach. So if you see them turning, it actually, for the entire year of 2024, they only produced 37.5%.
If I'm correct on the energy, they were on the tax roll in 2015 for 200 million, and now it's, I think, 32 or 34 million. For those, yeah, 34 million.
That's a 15% year depreciation. And that's mass appraisal approaches, and that's statewide, fairly comparable statewide.
So what you're saying is ERCOT is controlling some of that productivity.
Correct.
And so when they're trying to sell us a new farm, something like that, ERCOT's actually controlling how much goes into the grid and stuff like that.
That is per our utilities appraiser. Correct.
That kind of defeats the purpose of government.
Well, that's, I guess, because they're building so many across the state of Texas. They're
We only allow certain time periods that they're allowed to actually produce into the grid. One other thing we wanted me to mention is that, electric wholesale rates, so they're actually being paid per kilowatt hour is down this year over last year as well. So,
All right, commissioners, any other questions?
The only other thing that I've got is this, I know everybody wants to see it, but this huge increase in, homestead exemption. How is that going to affect your county?
So the 140, the exemption and the 60,000 for over 65, that we feel like will be voted in, we all voted on that in November. We feel like that is going to pass, but that affects just your school taxes.
Okay.
It does not affect the county. That's for your school districts.
Your homestead, I mean, affect your county.
No, because you all don't allow any additional homestead exemption.
But it can be pretty massive on the school tax.
It can, the legislature has a plan to offset that, like they did a couple of years ago when they increased it to 100,000. But we were instructed, we being the appraisal districts, our certified values were to include the additional exemptions for homesteads in the over 65, assuming that it will pass in the region.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions?
Well, we appreciate what y'all are doing and helping get this thing back in Middle County.
Well, I have a lot of meetings with Lori and Michael. It's been a pleasure working with you. So thanks for looking at it.
It's great to have it.
Yeah.
Well, folks, thanks for coming. I appreciate
Thank
coming
you
by.
all.
Y'all have a good day. We'll be in touch with you. Okay, that was the discussion. Now, number 7, consider and act on Mills County septic fees and related matters. So Al Hamrick has been doing our septic tank inspections here for 10+ years. He's asking for a slight pay increase. So I'm gonna read this off to you. So our current charge for septic tank is $310 per septic tank. So out of that $310, $10 goes to the TCEQ that we send in, and that works on those. $175 goes to Al Hamrick. Mills County, we keep $125. So what the new proposal would be a $25 increase, that would all go to Al Hamrick. So if it's approved by Commissioners Court, the new charge would be $335 for a septic tank inspection. Again, $10 would go TCEQ, $200 would go to Al Hamrick. We would continue to keep $125. Now, Al has not had a raise in about 10 years, what he told me. He does over 50 septic tank permits every year in Mills County. Of course, that number keeps going up. And this is in line with all the other counties too. So any questions on that matter? If not, I would make a motion that we approve the new rate increase regarding our septic tank fees.
Second.
Okay, I made a motion, a second by Commissioner Head. End of the discussion. All those in favor of approving the septic tank fee increase, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Okay. Number 8, consider an act on Kerrville rental agreement with Mills County Sheriff for new copiers and related material. Sheriff, I don't know if you have any information on this from Melissa or, I know that you're in need of this. Y'all can see what we got. We got one Canon color machine and 2 Canon, other machines for $3.20 a month. Service will be 0.015 cents per black and 0.06 per color. All service and toner included. This will be set up on a 60-month rental. The price is the same as the previous 5-year contract. And that's all the information I have on it. That's all y'all have.
It's the same.
Okay. Okay. Commissioners, any questions?
No.
Okay. I'll make a motion. We approve the Kerrville rental agreement with Sheriff's copiers.
Second.
I made motion, second by Commissioner Sullivan. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, number 9, consider an act on surety bond for James Jones and related matters. Sheriff, this is your surety bond. Any questions or comments, discussion? Let's see anything from y'all.
Make a motion to approve the tree bond for, James Young.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Williams to approve the surety bond, a second by Commissioner Head. All those in favor of approving the surety bond, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous. Number 10, consider an act on declaring Guy Burns' office chair scrap and related matter. This is an old dummy chair that's dilapidated. And I will make a motion that we approve the office chair as scrap. I made a motion, second by Commissioner Williams. All those in favor of approving the office chair scrap, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it, unanimous. Okay, number 11, discussion on FEMA matters and related matters. Mr. David Shaw, if you would come up here and give us an update on all the going-ons with FEMA.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, based on our discussions over the last week or two, a few items came up we want to touch on. I think the first one that we're most concerned about right now is where are we at with FEMA funding, right, for our public assistance grant funding. So we provided you an updated worksheet. Hopefully all the color codings there so you can follow along. But you'll notice things have changed a little bit. So the easiest way is to kind of back into this. If you look at the bottom where the color coding there for obligated funds. So that is the total number of obligated, total amount of obligated funds that we currently have on the books. And Summers here checking in case something doesn't seem right. But that's the amount that FEMA has obligated back to the state for us to get access to. Of that number, of that 143, we have actually been funded. Summer has the money in her account around 90 some, what is it, $90,000. So it's taken us a year and a month or two to get our hands on $90,000. So I know that's just, it's frustrating for y'all as it is for us, but it's not due to lack of effort on our part. We try.
When they make these payments, is that like in a certain increment or is it full amount? How's it?
It's basically by project.
Okay.
So as the projects move from FEMA, they're obligated, they move to the state has those funds. It's whatever, and I'm not really sure how all that meshes up. It's hard for us to follow too. With some projects that have been obligated, we haven't seen that money come to us yet or be funded. So it's very weird for us. We just kind of get we'll get a letter from the state saying, hey, you got some money available to you. So it's kind of spoiling. But point being, we are seeing some of that funds coming back to the county. We've got two more projects that are what I would call it final review. And that was the Cat B extensions. You know, we've been struggling with Cat B for almost this entire period of time. So we've got that down to, I think it's around $75,000 that FEMA we have agreed to. Hopefully that will get funded pretty soon. We have one more project that's final review. I believe it's a precinct one. This for a small amount, around $10,000 or $11,000. We had to go back and forth with them on some issues there as well. Hopefully those will get funded. So there's maybe another 100 or another 80, so $85,000 that will come back over the summer in the near future. The remaining projects, those are projects that you guys have been working on since the disaster incident occurred, or that you've been doing. I think we have roughly maybe 5 or 6 more of those projects that we are continually working with FEMA on to get settled based on what is the agreed upon amount to get funded or obligated. So we continue to work those. I feel we're getting closer on a few of those. I still need to get with you guys individually because I've got issues that I can't resolve on my own. I need some additional information and guidance to try to close the loop on those. So I feel like we're getting closer. We have a new project lead, we have a group supervisor that I feel pretty confident in her. She's, you can kind of tell, you've dealt with these folks over the years, she's very knowledgeable, she doesn't beat around the bush, she can solve problems very quickly, which for us is what we need, so I feel good about it. So if we can get those last 6 or 7 projects funded and over to the state this summer, that's that other $500,000 that we basically expended funds on when we get back, okay? Another good sign, and I'm going to call it a sign because you guys have probably kept up with all of the FEMA involved at the federal government level, getting rid of FEMA. We don't want FEMA involved anymore. So a lot of movement within the agency itself. Some of it I think is good, and some of it I think is problematic, and that it's just slowing down the movement of the money. More people are looking at the amounts of money we're asking for. The Homeland Security Director said that anything over $100,000 now has to have her signature. So in the old days, you know, a couple $1 billion at a time wouldn't be a big deal, but now they're looking at each project. Anything over 100,000 has to be authorized by them. To me, that's a problem because now that's just another cog in the wheel to get our money. We'll see how it goes. But one thing we were able to accomplish in one of our previous meetings is, for instance, for both Dale's project and Robert's project, which is the bulk of that 6 million that's kind of still out there in limbo. Those 2 projects right there account for almost $4 million. What we've been able to do is now FEMA is just going to take our original estimates. You guys remember we provided original estimates back when we did the damage assessments. So we did the worksheets for them. So this is how much we think it's going to take to fix these roads. So now what they're going to do, they're going to take that information. They're just going to type it into their calculation, their worksheets. And if those numbers come back and mesh somewhat within a certain range of tolerance, 10–50% difference, they're just going to fund that money. They're just going to move the money for funding, for obligation, if you will. If that happens, then we might see in the near future a big chunk of change coming in the state that they can ultimately get sent back over to summer, or that we can draw off of. Meaning, if we got $2 million obligated, someone might be able to say, hey, I need $1 million of that dollars right now to start reimbursing us and getting us back on track to do the repair. So there's movement. I think things are going to occur. I'm optimistic. I don't know, Summer has an opinion as well, but really we don't have a lot of control over what they do. We just try to keep pushing it forward. We just try to keep moving the ball forward, if you will. So, so as far as this project status, that's where we're at right now. The other item that came up in discussion was talking about equipment on Dale, maintainer. We need to. So first off, in my mind, I said to the judge, I don't think we can use PA grants to buy equipment. So I went back, and I think in your packet, you also see some fund reading, and that is directly out of what they call a PAPA-G, which is FEMA's Public Assistance Policy and Procedures Guide. This is the Bible for FEMA and for the state, what we have to follow. So there is a section in there that does talk about purchasing equipment. Right? So there is a place where we could say, hey, we're going to purchase this equipment. You have to look at the criteria. We'll probably have to drill down a little bit more, choose to go that way. My only concern is that we're having such a hard time getting money from FEMA. If you needed $350,000 and somebody has to come up and work that money, and then we're waiting on FEMA to get that money back. And I don't know how comfortable I would be advising to move in that direction, but to the answer, there is a mechanism to purchase equipment. And if you guys want to, we can move forward and I'll get more information for you.
The problem of our purchasing it for FEMA is once your project's completed,
How would
you got to.
you got to reconcile that, right? And so it's another issue, and I'd bring that up in further discussion, but it could be problematic, and it just seems like it's an overburdensome approach to use that mechanism. I mean, the lease purchase is still available to you. I mean, that's always been there. We can still move in that direction. That might be more reasonable to the board. But anyway, that's the information right there out of the book. We can talk more about it, but you can read that and kind of come up with more questions.
Maybe the other counties that have flood damage, they're pretty well the same boat we're in as far as not getting much money in, right? I know Hamilton County had more. I haven't talked to the judge over there lately, but it was a slow process too.
It's super slow. And at our last HSAC meeting we had at the beginning of the month, we all kind of go around the room and talk county by county. I don't think anybody has made as much. I think we've probably made the most progress of the 7 counties, believe it or not. With the exception of Bell County, because of that tornado damage and some other stuff that went on. But for the other rural counties, we're making good progress. And as good as we can say good. But I really believe that this scoping process with FEMA works, and we don't have a lot of hiccups along the way. I think if we could just get some of that bulk money obligated that we could get to, it'd solve a lot of problems. So we'll just keep pressing forward on that.
I'm not asking you to guess, but I guess I am, but you think that'll be this budget cycle, or you think your next budget cycle?
Which funding obligation? So I think both is a fair answer. We have a meeting on Wednesday, and one of the questions, we always try to refocus these guys on where we want them to move. So what I really want to ask them on is, we talked about scoping for Dale's project. Yours was the first one, I think it was, or was it Roberts? Well, maybe it was yours, and I'm not pointing. I think it might have been your group project in precinct 2. And I think that was like almost $2.5 million, maybe it's $3 million. I want to ask them how far they will come on that scoping project, because before they sent us the updated disaster damages dimensions, the details, and we signed off on that. I want to know how far they move that now. If they say, well, we haven't touched it yet, then I'm a little, and that's like, man. If they say we're hearing that information and we've moved from this stage to this stage, I'll be optimistic, because literally it's just taking our estimated cost and comparing it to the FEMA worksheet. If they're close and they don't have any major issues with it, then they're okay with it. They just move it on. So that would be encouraging. We might get one before the end of the year or budget year. We'll see. And then the last item that came up in discussion, and Summer and I talked about this, so at the state level, through section 418 of governing code, there is a fund, a state disaster contingency fund. It's been in 418 forever. We never really paid much attention to it. But recently, about 2 months ago, we had a discussion. We were looking at TIV card stuff and previous. There's no rule that says Mills County could not submit what we call a STAR, the State of Texas Assistance Request, under the disaster umbrella. We could submit a STAR in the state. We say, hey, we would like to get access to enough money to cover the 6 projects that FEMA has failed to fund or obligate because of whatever issues, and we need that money back. So we could justify our request and say, we'd like to get that $400,000. We've already submitted the letter to the governor, which is one of the requirements. We submitted that a while back. We've also documented all of our costs and expenditures. We've done all that. So the third thing is, if you guys agree to move forward, I'll submit that STAR request for whatever number it is you think you'd like to try to get reimbursed for. Now, That's where, that's as far as I know. What I don't know is what we're trying to figure out right now is if the state says, okay, we're gonna give you the $400,000 from the contingency fund. Because it's never been used before. I don't know what happens next. Do we have to eventually pay the state back into the fund? How long do we have to pay them back? Is it just turned into a grant? So that's the piece we don't know, because no one's ever tried it. We'd be the guinea pig. I'm not afraid to try anything, because I know how it works. But at the same time, that's something that you would have to make a decision on. And again, it's just another option, because we're always looking for ways to find ways to get money back to the county health. So that's an available option that we could look at. And I'll be glad to do it for you. But what are your thoughts on that, Summer? I mean, yeah, I think we're okay doing it, but it's not something I could just go out and do on my own. I need you guys to say, yeah, let's do it. And then maybe by submitting the STAR, that kind of triggers TDM. Now they have to say, hey, these guys are submitting the STAR. They're able to. What do we need to do to help them? And then they'll come back and say, okay, we're gonna do this and this. Here's how it works. We can find out. We could always say, no, never mind. We're not gonna do that. But we don't know, we don't.
There's no information that says that, is what you're saying.
Right, so yeah, like, there's no policy procedures guide that I can just go to and say, and check the boxes. Yeah, that's all us. Because they've never really done it. The fund's been there forever. And the state funds it. But we don't know how much money's in the fund. We don't know what's allowable, what's not allowable, but under the statute or the 418 code, you read through that, it applies to us. We can apply it to our situation right now. That's a disaster. Good. So, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what I got.
Commissioners, questions?
One question, are we, you made this, y'all went to the meeting, our mitigation areas were pretty bad again. And, the girls come out again the other day.
Yes.
While it was flooding. And showed them the same areas that we showed FEMA a year ago for permanent repairs. We're just, trying to get people crossing them and they're not very happy.
Good. So we're going to talk about it on Wednesday's meeting. So we requested FEMA, our project manager, to make sure that the mitigation people are on the phone call again. We're going to ask them where are we at on mitigation? So they've always had excuses previously. They previously would have an excuse to the fact, well, we want to get all the public assistance grant work done. Then we'll start working with this mitigation piece, right? So they've always had excuses. They didn't have the inspection documents yet. So we're gonna get them back on the phone again and just. I guess the short answer is, I don't know how long mitigation is gonna take. We've had some success in precinct 4 with mitigation because it was kind of tied in with other road work that was being done. And they had all the numbers put together and they moved forward on that rapidly. What they're not able to do on the other mitigation work, because we don't have any of the numbers they're looking for. We don't have the construction cost. We don't have the design. We don't have any of that information. So they're just kind of going, well, when you guys get the information, we'll try to move your projects. So you see what I'm saying? So
We can get information, but I want to know if it's going to be approved.
again, right, exactly.
That's a lot of work.
I know, and that's what helped us on these projects over here. A lot of that work was done by the TxDOT helped out, other folks helped out. So it's really, what do they need from us to make a decision? And we asked them to send an inspector. We said, send us another mitigation inspector out here. Come out here and look at these sites again. Here's our estimated cost. Tell us if it's feasible or not. And we still have not gotten a good response on that request. And that's probably been at least 2 months that we've been asking for that. So,
I mean, should we get somebody that can come out and look at the mitigations and figure out a good design for them, or?
well, and we could, and that was one of the things we did earlier, is we contacted one of the engineering firms, local engineering firms, and they do some other work as well for the county. Some of the floodplain or the coal pools and some of the EOPs for the flooding. they're able to do that kind of work. We asked it in our request for qualifications. You guys are familiar with that. We sent that out, and they responded. So they're kind of on the hook. We can call them up and say, hey, can you come talk to us? We could do that. What I don't know is what we have to pay up front to get them to do that work. Again, it's reimbursable. That's reimbursable expense. We get the money back. But we have to make a move in that direction. That's kind of, we have to move, very confidently. Let's move in that direction, get them in here, show them it's our, get the numbers put together, push it to be, but this is what it's gonna cost. Stand with an engineering seal. That's kind of what we need to do.
When we were meeting with the FEMA mitigation people, the first thing they would holler is hydrology test.
Yeah, I go, yeah.
And I'm like, we're not trying to contain this water, we're trying to build structures that it can just run over. But we hadn't gotten any, we hadn't heard nothing.
Yeah, and in FEMA's world, it doesn't matter what we are trying, look, it doesn't matter. In their mind, they're gonna go through those 12 steps. If we only want to do 3, they're gonna go through every one of those steps and sign off on it, that they looked at it and reviewed it, even though we just want to do 3 steps. So that's, whenever they say we have to do all these, we have to do those things, no matter what. And so, but the biggest piece for us is, again, the engineering piece and the study piece, where they have the hydrologists come out, they have little civil engineering comes out and goes, hey, talks to you guys, what is it you're trying to achieve? What is it you want out here? That's where it really starts. And they'll start to put those documents together for us. Once we have that packet put together and signed off on, right, stamped, then we send that into the mitigation team and say, all the work is done. We just need you to look at the information they provided and sign off on it. They're not coming out to do that work. They'll talk about that work, but they're not coming to do it. We have to, right? We have to provide it. So
Some of these projects are expensive enough that the county cannot do.
yeah, and we don't have we don't have the knowledge and expertise to do that. In fact, I couldn't go out there and design the structure, whatever it is you want. I couldn't do that, and we probably shouldn't do that. We need those guys, that firm to come in there and cross the T's, dot the I's.
So we've got under Fund 15 road improvement, there's some money in there. Could we go ahead and have engineering come out and fund it out of that fund?
Well, we also have Fund 90 in the new budget, which is the FEMA budget, and it's the administrative expenses. You can put that into there. We just need to have direction that that's what y'all want to do. We need to go find out how much they're gonna charge, and then I can put in a number. So
Yeah, I was thinking on this year's budget though.
how much is there?
Well, we took some out of it. It was 100,000.
90.
I mean, that's all.
I'm just saying, if you could get it out of this year's budget, then you would be using that next year's budget.
It could be, while you're thinking about that, it could be that you could identify your top priority projects. Since amongst yourself, hey, these are the top 4 projects we need these guys to come get on right away. And I think the consultant piece of the engineering firm would come do that. I don't think that's going to be overburdensome, because this is not complex work. It's just that we don't have the ability to do the work. I don't think it's going to cost a bunch of money initially just to consult and show them the sites, put that package together. But that's a discussion we don't have. But I think if you want to see
visit with the engineering firm?
that was my, let's get the money, yeah.
So that you give us their names and numbers.
You want to visit with them just individually over the phone?
That's what I'm thinking, maybe.
Sounds good.
Or at least those two get them together. It wouldn't be, and then they can make that decision, bring it back. We're gonna be there every Monday. We could add it to the.
Yeah.
I think it's a good move.
Okay. All right, any other questions for Mr. Shaw? Well, David, thank you. We'll be in touch with you. You're coming back up here Wednesday for meetings, I know, so thanks for all the work.
Yes.
Okay, number 12, Commissioners' request and reports. Commissioner Sullivan, take it away.
Well, we finished cleaning bar ditches and tin horns out on 505 and 510. And now we're working down on 327 on a FEMA project, putting in tin horns and getting them covered up and waiting on Louis Coronado to come out and give us a price on either pouring concrete or putting in side railings or whatever. So that's what we're doing. So this week anyway, trying to finish that up.
Okay, Commissioner Head?
We've been trying to do patchwork. We worked on 249, filled up a spot that got washed out there. Been working on 332 and 333. Trying to fill up some crossings, some stuff like that got washed out during that heavy rain. Hopefully this week we'll fall back on the 250, and well, we're supposed to do 250, try to get it back open. Basically doing everything, trying to get things kind of smoothed out a little bit.
Okay, Commissioner Barton?
Just about got county roads on 99. I'm not gonna say completed, done, back up and all 3 miles of road on that thing. It's too dry, we got it watered in. Where we got it back, it started raining. It turned into a muddy mess. Heard lots of comments from people on it. We got it back in. Now I think people are starting to like it a little better. But when they didn't put it in on that road, we've been filling some ditches in that got washed out. Last year and this year was some of the big rock like we used down at the law enforcement center. I guess other than that, trying to do some blading around, losing and moisture extremely quick, but we get the cause of this. The main thing, I'm sure this will come back out. Myself and Jeff were supposed to meet with Burlington Northern Santa Fe inspector. Bill, you need to be paying attention.
Last week.
Last week, he canceled on us. So we did not cancel with their approval of another meeting.
Yeah, I said, word, let us know when we meet again. I never heard back from them.
So it's a dangerous area to wash out, and David had talked about it before. You talked about it, the only thing I get is the guy from Land Passes, I guess, is over this region. Periodically, he'll bend my ear about that needs to be fixed. And without their support or their help, because I can guarantee you, I was gonna tell the inspector, maybe he got word. Last time that you ever seen water run uphill was when. So didn't even get to do that, he canceled.
I saw vehicles here, but they did not show up.
The guy with
The vehicle was outside. I must be across the street.
probably called.
All right, anything else?
But anyway, we tried. We tried several times without them making an effort, there's not much else.
If I can help, try to, get my man to do that. This is the man, the name of the.
But, well, the question is, how far does the right of way go? I mean, they're saying that it goes out only 2 feet and the rest is the county's responsibility. It's an expensive project. We don't have the equipment to take care of it. So, a lot of issues.
I saw an email from them, it was some time back. Yeah, I think they claimed that their right of way was farther from the track than what you said.
It says it varies.
This is from the outside rail, what one guy told me from Fort Worth, only 2 feet and the county's responsible for everything else. So we're still looking into it, but, we'll keep the commissioner's court posted if and when we ever have any meetings. So. All right, anything else, Commissioner Horton, Commissioner Williams?
Been hauling material on County Road 540 and 536, we're getting that material from Texas Material, which is just outside of Richland Springs. They were glad, and I want to thank Summer for helping me get that jump set up on that. They opened that pit up, it's been closed because it's sold, but they opened it up for all the flooding in the counties, the public county in those counties. 10 south. So, been nice to get a few loads a little closer to what I needed. Bladen on 433, 432, 430, 550, 519, 530. Got construction going on 530 this week and next week. We're gonna start sometime around lunchtime hour today. So Craig, I know where he'll be at if you run out that way. Then the other thing is, the Freightliner that precinct 4 owns, the 2011, it's in the shop in Abilene, we had to carry it up there. And the only other thing, Dale, is this goes on, now in Chelsea. Anyway, I'll tell you that. Other than that, that's it, Judge.
Okay, number 13, county judges report. So today we have a budget workshop starting at 10:15 with Charles Miles will be here. We got to give our treasurer, Ms. Campbell, some kind of direction on what we want to do, where we're going to go. 2, we got emergency management training. David Shaw is at 2 p.m. Emergency management training Tuesday at 2 p.m. or Sheriff's Department. Did I see that?
Next week.
Is it next week?
No, it's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Oh, it was 1:30. Oh, it was 1:30.
1:30?
I have 2 o'clock.
Well, I had 2, man, I may have saw
I
1:30.
had
but-
2 o'clock.
Everybody gets to, I guess.
Yeah, okay, emergency management training for, if possible, all elected officials at the law enforcement center, correct?
Okay, we'll be there.
Okay, that's tomorrow. Thursday, July 31st, we had Red River, workshop, a Bateman workshop at 10 o'clock. And another busy week, folks, and that's all I've got. Number 14, adjournment.
Make a motion, adjourn.
Motion, I'll second it. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned, we'll see about 10:15 a little bit for our budget workshop. I talked to them, they, nothing definitive, he's gonna go out there, I called him last week. He's gonna go look.